The Saints have been saved. It's time to now succeed and turn them around and start actually winning something with Southampton. Thank you, Stephen, for joining the Patreon. Very much appreciate that, my man. Welcome all of you to Season 2 at Southampton. Some housekeeping briefly to keep you up to date with. Of course, we have now sold Orshitz. He's gone to Borussia Dortmund. That happened in between seasons 1 and 2. 16 million, 12.5 of which added to my budget, which is quite sizable, to be completely honest. We have ourselves, obviously, some players we're looking to sell. Orshitz already has, sorry, not Orshitz, Onuachu already has bids in for him. So, Smallbone, Diallo, Mara, Adozi, Ndoye, Andrews, Longo, Richie, Ibrahim, all hopefully going out on loan, with then Jack Stevens, Liss, Dan and Lundulu, Simeo, Watts, Chalker, Finnegan, Larios, and then some Patreon players going out permanently. I have had immediate bids for Paul Onuachu, so we will be looking into those in the immediate future. I am looking for, with my squad, please, a backup fullback, a backup centre mid, and probably a higher rated, maybe slightly older striker to challenge Che Adams for that first team spot. He, of course, did score 18 Premier League goals last year. From the relegated sides, Bournemouth, Brentford and Everton, I have Aaron Hickey on my shortlist. I've also added in Ivan Toney and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Broja is on my shortlist, but I think he's just gone to Marseille in the most recent January window, so I don't know how realistic that might be. He's also not older, he's younger. I'm also scouting a couple of centre mids from Bournemouth as well, including Lewis Cook. So, objectives for this year. Rather unsurprisingly, they have jumped significantly with regards to domestic success. Youth development carries over from last year. Brand exposure want me to sign one crucial first team player to a forward position. I can do that if I sign Calvert-Lewin or Toney or my next striker on a crucial contract, even if they might not initially play immediately. They also want me to sign two crucial players all told, which I'm happy to do, and make a profit of 86 million, which is unlikely. And domestically, they would still round of 16 of the FA Cup, but they would like me to make the Europa League. So we finished 11th last year after a very slow start to the season where we were relegation threatened. We improved to become mid-table. Now, not only do they want top half, they want top 6 for the Europa League, which is going to be a push, but it is perhaps something that we could realistically get because of the potential of our team. Alcaraz now back from loan starts on the left for me in replacement of Orshitz. I don't think I'm going to look for a new winger in that instance. But everybody in that starting lineup, other than Ward-Prowse, is young and able to grow significantly. The back four might not need to change at all for the rest of the save. Bazunu now gets his first team spot back. We'll wait and see what happens in all of the other positions. So let me deal immediately with these bids for Onuachu. One from Newcastle of 17.4. They reckon that I can get up to 21 odd million for him. I will try and get over 20 as a rule of thumb, but I don't know whether that will have much success. With Manchester United also interested, they probably will be able to afford more. Onuachu, well, I mean, I am speaking about Newcastle here, I suppose. Onuachu's not going to make a massive impact on either team's squad, and it doesn't look like Newcastle are going to agree a fee. I'll ask for 21.5. The tension is high, and they say no. Eddie Howe, not interested. Will Manchester United be willing to negotiate further still? I'm not going to go for the Sebastian Coates option with Sporting. I don't need a centre-back at the moment. Okay, so Manchester United are certainly willing to negotiate, and we might well be able to get 22.5 here from them. 21.4, I'll take. £21.4 million for Onuachu. He's kind of similar to Valvekhorst, but a bit more physical and a bit quicker. 20 mil will do very nicely indeed. And actually, let me just straight up reject that bid from Sporting now. So Onuachu looks likely to be headed to Manchester United. I've got some Patreon players to sell. I've got some fringe players, as you've seen, to sell as well. I have a sizable budget, though. But I want to do things continually the Southampton way. We want to try and bring through youth players if we can. We want to try and prioritise not buying players from elsewhere and developing what we have. Hence why I'm going to put initial faith in that 11 and pray to high heaven that Bazunu's actually decent now. Please do drop the video a like if you're enjoying this Southampton save. Of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any more of this second season. Make sure you check the main channel for the RTG. And wave to Onuachu. Interesting Dominic Calvert-Lewin from Barcelona. So I think we can cool our interest there. Why would anybody choose Southampton over Barcelona? Lol. Gavin Bazunu's had a bid in for him, apparently, but we're going to reject that. And Sulemana also from West Ham. But West Ham finished around us in the league last year, and I don't really feel the need to sell Sulemana on. We are scouting England once more, as well as Brazil and South Korea with our youth scouts, hoping to get someone decent. It was 700k, but I've got some significant talents already called up to my first team. We've got some significant talents also being developed at the minute. So I'm only really going to sign now to my youth squad players that are upwards of £1 million in valuation, because quite frankly, I don't want to have a bajillion youth players. Interesting Tony from Sporting. Now I might jump on that and try and bring Ivan Toney in. Betis have got a loan to buy bid for Richie, which I will delegate to just a loan, and hopefully they'll accept that. Right. Now, Arsenal didn't have a very good year last year. They finished in 6th. But it is Arsenal. I think Salisu has to go. I can't really decline that. Valuation up to 23. I will negotiate and try and get a decent sized fee for him. But I'm pretty sure Salisu is going to be on his way out to Arsenal. Surely I can ask, like, it says I can ask for up to 23, but I mean, he's only 24 and he's 80 rated already. But apparently they're not going to give me any more than his valuation. I'm well within my rights here, I think, to ask for a bit more money than that. I'm sorry, Arsenal. I'm not going to let my first team starting centre-back leave for valuation. If they come back in or someone else comes back in with a more respectable fee, then absolutely, Salisu can leave. But not for valuation. Joe Aribo now being changed to a cam. He's changed position for us a couple of times now, but to a cam. And now Brazil, maybe a position change. 75 to 94 has me intrigued at least for the Brazilian there, but I think I'm going to stick to my guns and look to not sign anyone. He's 6'7" as a goalkeeper. I can't really ignore that. I don't really want to sign anyone that's under £1 million, apart from maybe the odd exception. It just happens that the odd exception might have presented itself twice there throughout the course of those few scout reports. Let's have a look. Miranda. He's definitely a defender, 5'10". He's jumping 6'7". I'm going to say no to him then. And then the goalkeeper, Silva, is 61 rated at present, and certainly at 6'7" is going to be able to grow, hopefully, quite significantly, technically, and physically doesn't need to grow anymore at all. Right, moving forward from there. Tino Livramento, bid from Liverpool. Now, we turned down Ajax, but Champions League Liverpool, I can't really not in that case, can I? Fabio Carvalho is the player they've offered me. I will look to negotiate that. I do not want Fabio Carvalho. at all. Now, if they have anyone I could potentially consider swapping, which they don't, then I'd be willing to do a player swap, but I don't think they're going to have anyone that I can use. So, let's try and get a big fee for him. He's got big potential. I'm going to be bullish. I'm going to ask for 40 plus. And I think that's justified. Now they'll offer Samikas plus 14. I don't want any of your players, Liverpool. Please negotiate with me purely financially. They will pay 42. Tino Livramento is seemingly on his way to Anfield. So not only will I need a backup right back, I will also need a first team right back. Unless we move Brandon Williams to right back and sign a new left back. Rico Henry was someone we were interested in previously and has now been relegated. So maybe Rico Henry's the go-to and we swap sides with our current left back who's right-footed. Livramento is sold. Not something I was happy to do, as I'm sure Southampton wouldn't be happy to see him go in real life either. But when a club like Liverpool comes calling, you can't really say no, can you? So I now need a right back, please, if you don't mind. A starting right back. 2-0 win. 2 goals for James Ward-Prowse, which is 1 more than he scored in the entirety of last season in the first friendly. Waiting from some scout reports as to Aston Villa. I feel like I can turn down for Perrault. Waiting for some scout reports to come back on a number of players in a number of positions from those that are with me live on stream. But obviously I'm not going to make any definitive decisions until you guys on YouTube have had the opportunity to have your way in. Now, Ivan Toney has gone to Sporting, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin has gone to Barcelona. So they are not options for me now. So at striker, I've got scouts out looking at so many different people, and hopefully it won't be too long before we start to get some scout reports back and I can narrow down the options that we currently have. I will show you who I have on the shortlist at present, and of course it's going to be quite sizable. Still, I think Aaron Hickey might be a bit of a no-brainer for a fullback, so I might just jump on that, especially for not that much of a fee. When it comes to backup centre mid, I'm still not sure. Sunset I'm scouting, but he's probably going to be too good. Ollie Watkins is still an option. Danny Ings back to Southampton, perhaps. Ben Brereton Diaz is here. And I've got some players I'm not too familiar with. Retegui, obviously I'm aware of Benjamin Šeško. Alfredo Morelos, Eduard Kelechi. Santiago Jimenez I don't know anything about. Luka Jovic, Lewis Openda I don't know too much about. En-Nesyri's an option. Cameron Archer's probably more of a loan thing. Same as Balogun as well. But don't know what to do at the minute. In a number of different positions. We're still waiting, like I say, for some scout reports to come back. That's another loanee, Samuel Edozie, going out to Galatasaray for a year. Now, we had a bid for Salisu from Arsenal, who's a starter for me. Now, Galatasaray had a bid coming from him from League Champions Manchester United. Now, this would be a move that I'd rather lose Galatasaray than lose Salisu. So I'm going to be more willing to negotiate this, but still, I don't want to get my arm twisted off. So I'm going to try and negotiate upwards of 23, 24. He's older, only by a couple of years, but older. And we'll see if they're willing to come up to 26-ish. They'll pay 24. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to see who they've got that I might be able to nab. Potentially. Luke Shaw. I'd love to bring Luke Shaw back to the club. I don't think that's realistic at this stage. We've already signed Brandon Williams from them. Striker-wise, Osimhen, and they've obviously already signed Onuachu off me. I don't think they're going to have anyone that I'm really going to have any interest in. So I'll just go for money, I think, here. And I might even just accept 24 if they come back in with it. They should pay 25 and they do. Thank you, Eric Ten Hag. Jaleta might well be on his way out, but that's fine. Jaleta is a gone. A bye-bye. On his way out and on his way to Manchester United. However, we do have a ready-made replacement, of course, who, if you recall back in Season 1, we sent to Napoli for 2 years on loan. Now, what I can do is if I go to the right part of the menu, I can recall Bella Kotchap from his loan at Napoli. It cost me 400 grand, but that's a no-brainer there. So we've got still a decent centre-back as a backup in Jaleta in Bella Kotchap for Jaleta. And also now, I don't need to worry about signing another centre-back for the time being, because I think we're happy enough with Bella Kotchap being the go-to centre-back as a reserve. So I'm still got scouts out looking for a number of different positions, including right-back now as well. Names include, I should probably show you as well, shouldn't I? Because so you guys are up to date, you know, offer the same names. So we have Jed Spence, Hickey, Scally, and Aarons at the minute as the go-tos. We'll wait and see in due course what happens in the transfer window. Let's see back. Bid for Liss, which we'll accept from Troyes as well. Currently looking to get Sekou Mara, a loan bid to Benfica. And the league season starts with Leeds at home on the 12th. It would leave enough time to scout anyone else between now and the end of the season. Again. Oh, hello, scout reports. Right, BRB. I am going to make the decision to try and sign Aaron Hickey. I can get him for about valuation. I think that's a relative no-brainer given the situation we have right now with our defence. He's only 21. They'll accept 14 million and a 9% sell-on clause. That's a no-brainer there. I'm also going to, with regards to no-brainer, look to... Where'd you go? Where are you? Going to get Joel Linton from relegated Bournemouth as well, because I think that's a pretty obvious absolute yes for about £25 million as well. So we'll have signed Hickey from relegated Brentford. We'll sign Joel Linton from relegated Bournemouth. And then the striker situation is still your decision on YouTube. So I'm going to go and sort contracts out for these two, and then we'll figure out what to do from there. First game of the season to be played today as well. Ilan Meslier in goal for Leeds United. Christensen, Koch, Verba and Ben Sabaini. Tyler Adams and Mark Rocker. Weston McKennie having gone back to Juventus from his loan spell. Luis Sinistera, Daniel James and Brendan Aronson. Was it Brendan Aronson? One of the two. Aronson at Cam behind Jorginho Rutter, who is now their lead man up top. It's a debut for Aaron Hickey at right wing back. Bazunu is back and improved, now at 76 rated. Alcaraz is back and improved at 76 rated. And growth within the squad as well for Sulemana, for Ward-Prowse, for Brown, for Salisu, for Lavia. So I think the only area really that I'm looking at in the minute is striker. Now there is the potential to loan Balogun from Arsenal. Now that is something that could be done to allow Sekou Mara the opportunity out on loan this season at Benfica to grow, and then he could come back and be a backup striker for us, or even a first team striker if he's good enough, and replace Che Adams. I'm also hoping Che Adams grows this year, but I don't think I can justify dropping a man or replacing a man in the starting lineup initially that scored 18 goals in the Premier League season last year. Ooh, Aronson has left me for dead there. And left Lavia on the floor as well. Excuse me, Mr. Aronson. I'd rather you didn't. Daniel James. Lovely ball through to Sinistera. Leeds mean business early doors, but Gavin Bazunu makes the save. Aronson picked off by Ward-Prowse. Hoping that Lavia really grows quite considerably this season. He didn't look out of sorts last year, or out of place. But as we try and get ourselves into the European conversation, I think Lavia then might actually look a little bit out of place. An offside there. Bazunu made a good save anyway. And he certainly started this season, or at least the opening 20 minutes, Gavin Bazunu, by impressing rather than worrying. And at the minute, it has us worried at the back here. Mark Rocker, don't fancy him from distance. James Ward-Prowse getting stuck in. Aronson has run things so far, and Sinistera shoots wide. Another chance for Leeds to take the lead. Oh, it's nicely done. Good block by Salisu to stop Rutter. And Sulemana has the pace to, and feet, crucially, to turn and get away. His attempted pass is poor. And now we're still on the back foot. This has been all Leeds so far. But they still can't find a way past Gavin, who's furious, apparently. And this has been a really tough game against Leeds United. It might be another season where we start slow, but get better as the year goes on. But our slow start will be about mid-table rather than the relegation zone, and then our get better will be challenging for European spots rather than just getting into the top half or trying to. Alcaraz to Aribo. James Ward-Prowse running off me. Lift it, looking for the run around the corner of... Oh, Sulemana. Melier decided to leave it to allow Sulemana to shoot. I did have the option square that I probably could have tried to find, but I didn't want to mess that pass up and not have an effort at all. And unfortunately, the effort we did have was well stopped. Look for the ball. It's well done. Rutter. Salisu steps in nicely. Excuse me, ref. Do you mind? So actually, Sinistera's already on a yellow after he destroyed James Ward-Prowse. So Luis Sinistera is going to get a second yellow. And in fact, it's a straight red. No second yellow. It's a straight red purely for that one challenge. So we're at 0-0 at the minute still. But Leeds are now down to 10 men on opening day. Hickey to Sulemana. I see the run Che Adams is making. Aribo will find Ward-Prowse again. And Adams, I think he's offside, Joel Linton. No, play continues. Ward-Prowse. Oh, was he offside? Did Ward-Prowse use a hand there? Someone did something. I think Ward-Prowse used a hand. So very nearly breaking the offside trap there, Joel Linton, with his first touch of the game and scoring a goal. That would have been one hell of an introduction is what I'm looking for. Come on, brain. To these new adoring home fans. Williams around the corner to Nathan Teller, whose pace will be vital off the bench at times. Oh, but his passing's not great, apparently. Oh. Rutter decided he just wanted to keep going. Prowse. Hickey. Aribo's in. Nathan Teller off the bench. Nathan Teller wins it for Saints. There are a number last year that were calling for me to recall Nathan Teller, to start him. I elected not to, hoping he'd grow really well at Burnley. He hasn't. Alcaraz grew more, and I think will probably still keep the starting spot. But knowing we have that from the bench is only going to make us all the better for the season. I think we're going to get 3 points on opening day here in the Premier League, thanks to Nathan Teller on his return to St Mary's. And we'll start the year with a win. Nathan Teller off the bench, just got man of the match according to the commentator as well. Ward-Prowse winds up. Shot blocked, but we're just trying to waste time, really. At the end of the game, the home fans are whistling, trying to get the referee to blow his whistle, which he will now do. Well, a win against Leeds isn't necessarily a massive result to build on for the rest of the season. That gives you an idea that we're going to be challenging at the top of the table. But to have been as defensively solid in that game as we were, crucially for me, to have seen Bazunu make a number of good saves as well, gives me confidence that he'll be better this year. And the squad is building nicely. Ward-Prowse still with the captain's armband, always with the captain's armband. We win on opening day. We've got some good signings through the door already. We've lost a couple of players, but in realistic circumstances, and we understand why they left. And I think we're in a good position with the squad as it stands right now. But the striker situation is up to you. Che Adams has grown to 78 now already this season, so presumably will continue to grow as we push further forward through the year. I could loan Balogun, or I could buy someone, or maybe loan someone else. Let me say Sekou Mara is out on loan currently and will come back and look to be involved. Ollie Watkins looks like he could be decent. Danny Ings might not be as quick as he once was, but could still be deadly in the finish. Ben Brereton Diaz is obviously an option from Blackburn. Retigi, I don't know anything about, but finishing stat looks like it's going to be pretty tasty. Šeško is an obvious go-to wonder kid. Morelos is a different type of player. If you'd like to see me play with someone like that. Otson Edouard is there or thereabouts. Kelechi is there or thereabouts and with experience. Santiago Jimenez, I don't know anything about, but might be half good, half decent. Luka Jovic, I imagine, has a half decent finishing stat. Actually, he's not as good as I thought he might be. Lewis Openda's going to be pace and nothing else. I'd rather avoid someone that is just pure pace and not much else. If you don't mind, in fact, I'm going to take Lewis Openda off the list because I don't want that sort of player. I don't want to kind of break the sliders with someone that's just 95 pace all the time. Youssef En-Nesyri is genuinely an option. He's slightly slower in the acceleration as well, and I imagine his sprint speed is going to be down towards the lower end of that as well, the Moroccan. Cameron Archer could be a loanee, potentially. Balogun is decent at 75 rated. He's got decent pace at 84, and his finishing is 80. He might be a genuine option as a loanee for a year whilst we wait for Sekou Mara to grow. Or we could perhaps sign someone that is higher rated, but completely different in play style, in Gianluca Scamacca. He might be decent on the ball with 83 ball control and 79 dribbling. He's 6'5", so he's basically a slightly better technically Onuachu. Really, he's only a couple of inches shorter. I don't know. That's where you guys come in. Che Adams has grown. Finnegan, Longo Loanbeard, which we will delegate to just a loan from a loan to buy. Monaco want Bazunu. We want Bazunu to stay now, which is not something I thought I'd be saying earlier on in the save. I'm pretty happy with where we are right now. Pretty happy, I think. 6th in the league as well after our first game, albeit only a 1-0 victory, but a victory nonetheless. And if we can finish the season in 6th, we'll be thrilled, as would Brighton, Sheffield United and Crystal Palace fans. I think it's safe to say the end result might not look the same, although it might look similar for us. Who knows? We've got Arsenal and Liverpool to round out the month, so it's certainly not going to be straightforward to start the year for us. West Ham away in the Carabao Cup as well is not necessarily an easy introduction to that competition either, although it's the FA Cup that will take priority for us this year. Do drop the video a like if you've enjoyed. Please let me know your feedback in the comment section down below and let me know what the hell to do with that striking situation. And let me know your feedback on what else I've done so far this year. If you're happy with it, if you're unhappy with it, if there's something you might have done or something else you think I could do, then do let me know. For now, though, that's all for today's episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.